seriously. Welcome in, everybody, to another episode of 410 Sports Talk. I'm James Haskell, along with my co-host Glenn Martin. DK is currently being blinded by some sort of light in the background that you guys can't see, but he is here running the show. It's actually, I think it might be an officer that's checking him for his sobriety right now. He's kidding. No, I'm totally kidding, DK. But we're here on a Friday night to preview this exciting matchup, potential fireworks type game. If last week wasn't it for you, this one might be even more. I might have some things to say about that, but we will see as the show goes on. But we're here to preview it for you, give you all the skinny on the game and otherwise. Of course, it is the Baltimore Ravens against the Washington Commanders. If you do not already know, battle the Beltway.
Over under set at 0.5 that we'll call them the Redskins at some point in this episode.
Oh, I'm taking over, but I'm also taking you to say that.
I'm the one? Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks.
But but before we continue, of course, we have a great partner who helps this show exist and grow. Super excited for them and for BetOnline. Appreciate their support. So, Glenn, why don't you talk to the folks about what is going on over there, my man?
No doubt. Yeah, BetOnline is first and foremost the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for everything sports betting. It has every stat, every matchup, and even live odds and spreads to bet on during the games, with the largest catalog of odds on everything from football, MLB playoffs, NHL, NBA, even political props, Jimbo. They got it all. And when the games are over, or when election season's over, head on over to the online casino and get in a hand of blackjack, some poker, unwind with over 150 slot games. Head to the website today to get in on the action with America's most trusted site for online wagering. BetOnline, the game starts here.
Let's go. Excited about this game, as I mentioned, Glenn. I'm sure you are as well. We're here to break it down, of course. And in order to do so, I think, as always, we should start with the injury report. There's been some movement, positive, I think I would say, for the Ravens. And then, of course, we'll look at the Commanders. See, I feel like I almost said it there. So we'll start there before we dig into this game. But, DK, I also want you to, while this is up, if you can, just for the sake of fodder and fuel to the fire, there's a clip going around Twitter about Ryan Clark talking about Lamar Jackson in comparison to Jayden Daniels. I'm not going to spoil
I haven't
it
heard it, so I'm
for anyone
glad.
who hasn't seen it. But if you can find it, DK, and you can put it up, like have it when you have it ready, I want to watch it. Let me know. And if you can't find it, message us and I'll help you find it. But it's Ryan Clark. Anyway, all right, let's get into this thing. I'll talk about the Ravens a little bit here. I mean, look, Glenn, the list is growing, but we're in week 6 now.
Yep.
I think the most important thing to look at is who simply didn't practice and why. And so a few names to focus on, but I don't know if there's a ton that I'm super nervous about. I think the most important one here that didn't practice today is probably Broderick Washington. But look, Glenn, we got some guys there. Travis Jones is absolutely coming on, and Michael Pierce, and we know what Mike can do. And then obviously Metabike. So I'm not super nervous about making up for his production, but he's certainly a guy whose absence will be felt. Outside of that, Malik Harrison, I think we've both said it. We're okay with him not being on the field. And Arthur Marlette, we haven't really felt the impact of his loss because he hasn't been out there.
Right. Yeah. I think you covered it right there. The only thing with Brody, I mean, look, he's a good player, but we got a lot of good players up front. So
no knock on him. We just happen to be deep.
Yeah, and so the big thing, it just allows a little bit less rotation. So maybe guys aren't quite as fresh as they would be. Maybe have to pick up some more snaps, but that's the only thing there. And then, I don't mind Malik missing. It's not like this is a team where you need extra edge guys that can hold up against us. I'm okay with him missing some snaps. But any concern with Mollett? The practice window opens, was it last week? And then he has days where he practices, other days where he doesn't. And then DNP all week this week.
Yeah, he had a setback as far as I've heard.
Yeah, that's disappointing because I think Arthur's a heck of a player and brings a lot of energy and some fire to this defense. So hopefully he's still on track to return, but not looking good when you have a whole week of missed practices after returning.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, I just feel bad for the guy. Like I said, I mean, our secondary hasn't been playing great, but I think we have the guys in house, and not a knock on him, but we're just deep there. So I don't know if him being there or not being there is gonna, would all of a sudden make the secondary incredible or just make it terrible, right?
Yeah, no doubt. I don't know how much, at least in the initial part, it moves the needle, but I think it will as he gets healthier. Andrew Voorhees, full participant every day at practice. We're going to get into that offensive line. I think we might have to add that to the over-unders as now a new feature in the competition. Offensive line combination, what say you? I think that could be an interesting feature, but maybe as a tiebreak. But let's move on. Oh, by the way, in case anyone, Marlon Humphrey, limited participant last 2 days. He's on track to play, and the same can be said with Bateman, full participant today, limited yesterday. He's good and looks good to go. So, yeah, just the guys that we talked about are at risk. And then as far as the Commanders go, Nick Allegretti, who came over from the Chiefs last year, got in limited participations both the last 2 days. He's on track to play. The guys that I think are the biggest question marks, and really the guy that jumps off the list at me is Brian Robinson Jr. Did not participate in practice all week. He's definitely their stud at running back. Now they have Austin Eckler, who's the longtime vet from the Chargers, but much different play style, much different running back than Brian Robinson. So that could be a big, big absence for them.
Yeah, I mean, if you're telling me he's not playing, absolutely, that's a huge part of that offense. So yeah, no, I'm with you there 100%.
So it looks like they could be without one of their key participants, but everyone else looks like they're on track to play. So yeah, be on the lookout if Brian Robinson's out there or not.
Yeah. Don't mind the men, but there we go. Okay, I think that this is the clip. DK, can you pull this up real quick? I believe this is it. All right, let's see it. And I'll let you know if we can hear it.
Lamar Jackson is one of the best quarterbacks I've ever seen. He's one of the greatest all-around football players that's ever played in this league. Right now, today, in 5 games, Jayden Daniels is a better passer than Lamar Jackson. But this, I think.
What are you saying, Ryan Clark? Like, why? Not seen the years of tape at this point by Lamar Jackson.
He would say, I'm not talking about the years. I'm talking about right now.
Well, what I mean is that, like, if you're saying in this year, that's what you mean? Like, that's the argument?
That's what he's saying. He's saying right now, which is...
I feel like he's saying that in 5 games, he's already proven that he's better than Lamar where Lamar is, right? So he's already ahead of Lamar in only 5 games of all of what Lamar's done as a passer.
That's not what I took. I took it as right now. Just in
either way.
But either way, Lamar's playing out of his mind. Like, what are we talking about?
Insanity.
This past game, like, it was insane. I mean, the way he played the position, dude, I am so impressed with his command of the offense. Like, going back and really looking at the tape this past week, he is the absolute captain of this offense. It's in his full control and command, and he's just been masterful. So it's nonsense. It's talking point. It's crazy, but man, Ryan Clark, get it together, bro.
Yeah, dude. Just like Lamar said about the lady in the restaurant, Commander fans, it's Ryan Clark's fault.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys. It's going to be his fault. But anyway, I thought that was worth putting up there.
He has double the just so you guys know, Jayden Daniels has twice as many interceptions. He has less than half the amount of touchdowns. He has 100 less passing yards. Let's see, rushing yards. He's behind him in that as well. I mean, there's no category where Jayden Daniels bests Lamar. Yards per attempt on the ground, yards. I mean, there's the only thing he has is completion percentage. So, and guess if that's what you're looking for, he's got him in that.
Yeah, ridiculous.
Yes, it's one interception versus 2, but it's still half.
That's right.
Okay, it's still half.
That's right.
Talking about double the picks, Jai. That's right, or Jay, if I'm saying that incorrectly.
I think it is Jai. Yeah, there you go, Glenn. You got it.
Yeah. But all right, let's get into our breakdown here, Jimbo.
Let's do it.
Let's
talk about this offense, dude, against their defense, bro.
Is that how we're starting?
Yes, sir. That's what I got on the board.
All right, well, get us started, dude.
I have you up on the board with the Ravens offense, bro.
Oh, I got their numbers, if that's what you're asking for.
Yeah, well,
I got their numbers.
What it says.
All right, my bad. All right, so they're second in points per game in the league, averaging 29.5. They're first in yards, 447 is their yardage average. Yards per play, they're first, 6.8 yards per play. Touchdowns per game, first, 3.5. Rushing yards per carry, first. 6.1 per game first, 211.2. Passing yards per game, they're ninth at 236. They're actually now, Jimbo, maybe we've been too hard on the O-line, or maybe it's just, damn, Lamar Jackson is something special. Number one in QB sack percentage is Lamar Jackson. 3% of his dropbacks.
It's awesome.
He is sacked. Number one in the league. So, yeah, I mean, just number one in a lot of areas, Jimbo, offensively.
Yeah, what else is there to be said, right? And I want to talk about their defense. Of course, you got some guys to watch over there, and certainly some names. But I want to give you some statistics if I can pull these up real quick.
Go for it.
All right, let's talk about, because we know who the Ravens are, right? But let's talk about this defense. All right, so a couple things to note. I'm struggling. Here we go. Here we go. All right. So the overall defensive ranking for the Commanders is currently 12th in total defense. And look, Glenn, feel free to correct me on any of these numbers, as always. But I'm pretty sure that these numbers are right. I think they're averaging a touch under 200 yards per game given up. Does that sound right?
You talking about their defense?
Yeah.
No, they're giving up 328.
Okay. Yeah, that doesn't sound right. See, I got problems over here. Let's see. Scoring defense are going to 23 points.
Yep, 19th in the league.
23 points. All right. Rushing defense giving up 130 a game.
You got it.
Yeah, baby, which is 21st and not good for them. Anytime you're in the bottom part of the league and you're playing against the Baltimore Ravens, it's an issue. So certainly something to keep your eyes on. Their pass defense, of course, a bit better. Currently 12th in passing yards allowed. Sorry, that is where they're giving up 198 passing yards per game.
There you go.
Now, another problem area for the Commanders, Glenn, is their red zone defense. 29th in the league in red zone defense. Currently, they allow a touchdown 68.8, call it 69% of the time. That's brutal because the Ravens are pretty good.
They're second in the league, 75% red zone conversions.
I can never say it like that. Remember the guy from The Office when Pam goes to interview in Philly for the real estate job? I forgot the guy's name. He also plays Better Call Saul, and he's like, pretty good or whatever. Anyway, yeah, 69% of the time, and the Ravens are excellent in the red zone. So look out. I think they have a solid defense, but obviously some areas of concern, red zone and rushing. And those are areas of strength for the Baltimore Ravens. So look out, Glenn.
Yeah, buddy. And you know what? The thing about their defense, I think we got to give them a little bit of, they're going through some of the similar growing pains that the Ravens are going through with their new coordinator on defense, but they are coupling the fact that they have a new coordinator with the fact they have 9 new starters on defense, Jimbo. I mean, a complete and total rehaul. Their secondary, all new. Like, just kind of compare that to the Ravens, where would we lose one guy out of our secondary, and that's Geno Stone? I guess 2 with the corner who went to Jacksonville, I believe, who was a big player for us that we kept saying his name wrong, Darby.
Oh, right.
So we lost 2, but we brought back a lot of guys. I mean, they lost everyone, 9 new starters and a new coordinator. So there's going to be some growing pains, but I will say, I think they're a little bit better than, some of what the numbers say, because just like the Ravens, like, do we think the Ravens are the worst pass defense in the league? Like, I don't feel like that. They played like that thus far, but I don't think that that's fair to go. Like, I don't think it would be smart by the Commanders to go, oh, well, this secondary sucks. We're going to go destroy them. Okay, go for it. Take them lightly, because I think what's interesting is, take our guys lightly, but I don't want our offense taking their guys lightly, even though, like, they don't have a pick yet on defense, Jimbo. Like, they have 0 interceptions as a team. That's pretty crazy to think about. But again, just don't want people just to think that we're going to roll right over them because, they have some bad statistics. But did you go over?
No, I didn't go over the guys. I can mention, of course, they got some names as well. You got Bobby Wagner, who we all know. Jonathan Allen, who's an absolute monster. Darren Payne, Jeremy Chin, highly coveted guy coming out that we really liked. And then Frankie Louvu as well. Any of those names in particular that you see as, based on the matchup, right, offensively, defensively, as key cogs for them and needing a big game out of, I mean, all of them, but if there's one or two, maybe more than another, based on,
I think maybe Jeremy Chin, because I think he could be used as a spy on Lamar Jackson. I think he's going to be a guy who could be brought down as a linebacker in some of their sub packages. But Frankie Louvu, he's got 3 sacks, a pass breakup. He can tackle. I mean, he's absolutely everywhere. And let's not forget, Bobby Wagner is one of the GOATs at linebacker in the history of the league. He also already has 2 sacks and 44 total tackles. He's slow now because he's gotten old. But if he gets his mitts on you, you better believe your ass is in the grass really quickly. But yeah, like Jimmy said, 2 studs, first, top 10 picks at D tackle with Allen and Jerome Payne. I mean, they're absolutely a problem when it comes to the interior of their defense. But yeah, if I had to pick one guy, I'd probably go Jeremy Chin as it's
a good one,
kind of the sneaky upset guy.
No, I like that. I like that a lot. All right, so I want to talk about really quickly, since we're kind of breaking down this matchup, our offensive and defensive keys or matchup, if you will, that I consider to be important. And I'm going to go with our tight ends. Mm-hmm. And they're what I'm calling pass defenders, because it could be linebackers, could be Jeremy Chin, and otherwise. But something I think is really important when I was kind of digging through the stats, as far as what I was able to obtain, and let me know if if this is incorrect. I think they're giving up something stupid like 15 yards a game to tight ends, which sounds good on paper. But if you look at the teams they've played, like a lot of teams, they're top heavy in their tight ends. But okay, so you shut down one, right? Mm-hmm. But the problem with the Ravens is that you can't do that. You can't just say, well, I'm going to take Mark out of the game, because we have 2 legitimate threats at this point, right? So, I think that with us running a ton of 22 personnel, which is crazy. I was listening to the radio talk about this. 34% of the time we're in 22, and no one is even close to us, Glenn. Close to us. And anyway, I'm going to talk a little bit more about this later, but I think they're a relatively, that statistic is a bit of what am I trying to say? It could be a bit misleading, simply because I think if this room is different, the depth that we have is different, and the matchup is, I think, going to be exciting. So that's the matchup I'm looking to watch. The tight ends did a lot last week, and I don't think that trend is going anywhere. So I see that as a key matchup in this game.
I like that. Look at you, deep diving. Yeah, I think,
dude, let's go.
I think really all year we can use our 2 and 3 tight end sets to a massive advantage, because it's like, how do you go up against such big bodies that can all move, that can catch the ball in the backfield? Like, you're going to try and counter with bigger guys. Okay, now that bigger guy has to run with Mark Andrews and has to run with Isaiah Likely. And even Charlie Kohler at this point has turned himself into a weapon that you got to look out for if you're a defensive coordinator. And then when they try and go, oh, man, they're kind of fast, let's put some smaller guys. We'll just mash you with just talk about willing blockers at tight end. I mean, who would have thought that Mark Andrews would have turned into the blocker he is at tight end? Like, holy smokes. That guy is an absolute problem. And the same can be said with Isaiah Likely. I think that's a really good point there. To me, I think we talk oftentimes about if we can just break through their D-line. Mm-hmm. I welcome a linebacker or a defensive back to try and tackle Derrick Henry once we get this guy moving. And there was other examples, like the safety last week on that 50-yard run. I think it was number 34. He could have easily came up and made an attempted tackle. He purposely got himself stuck because he didn't want to deal with a full speed Derrick Henry. He didn't want it. And it's really kind of sad to see, because then he kind of like just puts his arms out. Like, they're going to see this on tape. Like, they're going to see me make business decisions. Well, they got a guy on defense, Bobby Wagner, who will not make any of those business decisions. And he will, if getting a hold of Derrick Henry, he has the capacity to get the guy to the ground. So that's my key matchup. It's Derrick Henry versus Bobby Wagner, an old school matchup, a big, powerful running back against an absolute eraser when it comes to the run game on defense. I'm so excited to see these 2 guys match up. I don't know if Derrick Henry can stiff arm old Bobby away, but
yeah, it's a good point. I mean, look, he's a grizzled vet, right? Like,
that's right.
Actually, who's older? They've both been in the
It's
league
gotta
for a
be
minute.
Bobby,
Do you think
dude.
it's Bobby? Yeah.
You remember Bobby was the centerpiece of the Legion of Boom, and they
Yeah.
are like, it seems like that was so long ago.
That's true. That is
This
true. That was
guy's
what, like
still-
15 when they were at their like
Right?
2015?
And he's still out
34,
here.
DK? He's
Yeah, compared
34.
to
Yeah, so
30,
he's
right?
yeah. So he's what, 4 or 5 years, 4.5,
4 years,
whatever,
yeah.
4 years older.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Crazy,
man.
dude. He's still out here just bringing dudes to the ground.
Yeah.
He's really good. But man, I am super hyped to see if this offense can keep building on what they did last week. Because don't be shocked. They're gonna stack the box and challenge us again. We seen a ton of zero last week. The Ravens had answers for it for the most part, except for a couple issues, that led to the 56-yard field goal. We had Justice Hill's been great at blocking all year. He totally whiffs on a linebacker blitzing, and that's the reason that incompletion led to the 56-yard field goal attempt. But man, if they can continue to build on, teams are going to load the box, put one-on-one coverage on the outside. We're going to see it again, and let's keep making them pay because this is excellent preparation for the playoffs when we know we're going to see those coverages. So yeah, let's see what this offense has got, Jimbo.
I like it. And I'll tell you what, Glenn, my offensive player this week, I talked about the tight ends, but when you're talking about 22 personnel, I think the really cool thing is adding Zay to that. And the X factor that he is when you trot out Zay Flowers, what you talked about with all that beef, right? Then you got an absolute fruit fly out there who's just so evasive, right? Dude, I've been dealing with fruit flies.
Dude, they are a problem.
Since we came home from California. So I didn't tell you this.
No.
My parents aren't watching. Somebody came to my house 3 times. My dad came to my house and either left or missed 3 bananas on the counter. 6 weeks, Glenn.
No.
Bananas. I walked into my house and I kid you not. Many fruit flies. I had 3 cans of fruit fly killer, 4 traps, and I'm just spraying everything down. It was madness. So we just got over it. Like, it took days.
Dude, I breathed in a fruit fly 4 days ago. It was buzzing around my face, and I took a deep breath, and I felt, and I saw it at the last second, and I went, no, and it was in my throat, and I never saw it again. I don't know what happened, dude.
And protein, baby. Was it spicy?
It was not. It was a little crunchy. But I don't want little fruit fly babies to be growing in my
certainly not. But look, to that point, I mean, they're evasive.
Yes.
Right? They ain't fast, but they're evasive.
Dude, they're they're sneaky.
That's exactly Zay Flowers out there. And I think, it's just an exciting matchup. To know you can't guard Zay in a one-on-one situation, which you're forced to be in a lot when we roll out that personnel. So Zay can get open so fast in the line of scrimmage. And then I know we kind of knock Monken for the short stuff, but if you get the short stuff right with the beef you have on the field, Zay gets the ball. Once again, it's another problem, right?
Yep.
So to that point, I think Zay Flowers is going to be an issue this week. So he's my X factor of the week on offense, my breakout player, X factor, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah. Now, hey, look, I wanted it to be Todd Monken because I'm just, dude, this guy is in his bag lately, bro. Like the stuff he's drawing up, it's been impressive, man. But I do want to owe an apology quickly to Falele. When we did our reaction show, again, guys, we come on here as soon as the game is over. We hit live. So we don't have a lot of time to review, to see different angles. I criticized Falele on the safety. It was pretty clearly Rosengarten's fault. But again, in real time, without the ability to go back, I have people over there. I made a mistake. So I apologize. Falele, that was Rodgers' fault, and he will be better. But my X factor is going to be it's Tylan Wallace. After what I saw from him last week, look, he had the blunder, doesn't catch the punt, learns from it, has 2 huge catches, and then an incredible his block. Like just the way we have such smart football players, man. He's supposed to crack back. He's supposed to crack down on Hendrickson.
Yeah, I saw this breakdown.
Supposed to crack down. He ultimately whiffs. Hendrickson expects him to do it, and he completely whiffs. Quickly, in the middle of the play, our dancing polar bear, Pat Ricard, sees this, takes him, Tylan then goes, okay, you got mine. I get the guy that I know you're supposed to get, and then springs him wide open for the 51-yard gain. We got smart players. I think he's going to grow his role in this, and we're going to see a shrinking role from Deontay Hardy. I think we see way more as a return man, but also more as a pass catcher, and I think he makes a couple big catches this week. So watch out for Tylan Wallace.
I like that, Glenn, and I think to your point, that's what's getting him on the field. John loves the effort plays, loves the special team stuff. But, we would on any team, of course, if your back can't block, he's not getting on the field. But John, if you can't block, he will sit your butt down real quick.
Yep.
Right. And to that point, being that Tylan Wallace has seen up snap count, you saw that play, just, being in sync with your teammate and making the right move. It's got me excited because I agree. I mean, he's already Tylenol, baby. That's right. Let's go.
Giving headaches out to every DC in the league.
That's right, man. But look, we think that he's got potential. I mean, he's got hands, right? And so I think that layering on more and more to his game is a possibility. So I like that sneaky offensive X factor. But all right, well, let's talk about this.
We got a lot to talk about.
Yeah, this Ravens defense. I just want to say real quick, of course, we have Dean Pease. Glenn, give me your opinion on that real quick. Are you excited about the whole Dean Pease thing?
I'm so glad you asked. I think first and foremost, I think it's a tough move for a defensive coordinator to reach out and get help, especially from a mentor like Dean Pease is for Zach Orr. And I got to give Zach credit because I think it's possible that maybe he bit off more than he could chew, or maybe it's a lot taken on this role. And I think he maybe had some weaknesses in his game coming from a linebacker, playing linebacker, maybe didn't have the experience on the back end of a defense to know how to kind of fix some of these issues. So who does he go get? He goes and gets a guy who's, a Raven through and through. He's been here for many years, and he gets a guy who started as a DB coach. And I think we'll kind of fix kind of the gaps maybe in his game and kind of help him grow into becoming a better defensive coordinator. I don't think this means Zach can't be a DC. I think he recognized that he had some issues, and he's humble enough to ask for help. And I love that he asked Dean for that help because he's a former Raven, and I think we've seen some good things from him. And I think, again, his secondary background is gonna really help this defense. So A++, and sure, DKS, was this a Harbaugh move? Maybe Harbaugh went to him, because I doubt Zach went to Harbaugh and was like, I need help, coach. I need help. I think it had to be the other way around. I think Harb said, hey, would you be open to some help? Would you be open to another voice in the room? It's Dean. You've coached, he's coached you, and I think he welcomed it. So yeah, got to give that guy some credit.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with you there. I'm excited about that. I think to your point, there was no real elder statesman on the defensive side of the ball.
Yeah.
Right. It was John, and then, you know what I mean? John's not a full-time on the defensive side of the ball. So just adding that to the infrastructure, right, of that defense is going to be exciting. But all right, so I got some stats for you. Look, you guys saw the game. You know kind of what we're up against. Of course, the secondary is struggling. Once again, fact check. If I'm giving any alternative facts here, please let me know. But the Ravens are at 304 yards per game right now. Does that look right to you?
What, yards allowed?
Yeah.
I got 340.
See, I got problems right now, Glenn.
Hold on, 304. Maybe that's just that's not just their passing. It's 280.
What is it? What is it rushing? 146
allowed?
Yeah.
They give up 60.
Yeah. See, all right.
Number one.
Glenn,
Number one
give
in
us
the
some
league.
stats.
Yeah. So points per game, they're 26th. Give up 25.
I need a new source.
Opponents' yards per play, 5.6. That's 25th in the league. Yards per game, 340.6. That's 19th. As far as rushing yards, now here's where they're good. So it's pretty clear that they have one glaring weakness, because they're first in rushing defense, giving up just 60.5 yards per game, 3.1 yards per carry as a team. So far and away, number one. Man, now Jayden Daniels might present a different type of challenge, but as of right now, number one. And then, no surprise, they're 31st when it comes to pass defense, 280 per game. They're 29th in yards per completion. Per pass, 8.1. I mean, Jimbo, they've got to be better. I mean, even defensively, when it comes to red zone, they're 25th. They allow offenses to score 66.6% of trips to the red zone. I mean, they got to be better, Jimbo. This is pretty bad.
Yeah, that's just rough. The stats are bad, but I could be saying this because I'm a homer. Glenn, once again, do you think we have the talent in the room to turn the ship around?
I think that's the most encouraging part. It's like you don't look at this team and go, we just don't have the horses. Like we don't look at these guys and go, they stink. Like they don't stink. Sure, there's some issues. Our outside corners struggle outside of Wiggins finding the ball when it's thrown over their head. That's a problem. I will say that Roquan to me looks maybe a step slower. Like I think that's okay to say that right now. Maybe he'll get better, but no, as far as being 28th, 29th, heck no, not even close to being this bad. Not even close. They're way better. You can't be this good against the run and be that bad against the pass with the highest paid secondary in football. Can't be.
Right. Yeah, it just can't stay that way, right? I refuse to believe the Ravens are that bad at spending their money.
Yeah, like terrible. And not only just the money, even our first round draft pick this year is in the secondary. So it's money and draft capital investments.
Yeah, that's absolutely outrageous. All right, well, let's talk about their offense. We got a lot to talk about, and I think we'll spend some time here, Glenn. What do we got going on? Mr. Jayden Daniels, of course, is the darling of the news.
Yeah.
Right? It's absolutely taken off. I think some people are starting to include him in some MVP type conversations. And look, Glenn, before we get into stats, of course, turning around a franchise like the Commanders is a big deal. I don't think it's just Jayden Daniels. Of course, they've got to win, but they've got the new ownership. They've got Dan Quinn, who is a steady hand, a vet coach.
Yep. Smart hire.
Yeah, brings a lot of wasn't he their second choice too? I'm pretty sure he was their second choice.
I don't recall who their first would be.
But anyway, it was an offensive. It was a young guy, I think.
Maybe the Titans guy went from the Bengals?
Maybe. But anyway, yeah, I agree. Smart hire, steady hand. Like the
you know what? I think it was the guy from Detroit, but he ended up staying in Detroit, Ben Johnson.
Yeah.
If I remember correctly.
Yeah, I think you're right. But yeah, it's been a good fit so far. But certainly outside of Jayden Daniels, they've done a lot to support this team and its performance on the field. But talking about this offense, Glenn, and then I also want to get your opinion on what you think of Jayden Daniels. Is it real? Will we, is he not tested yet? Just talk to me about your overall feelings once you give some stats.
Yeah, absolutely. So first with the stats, they're, I said the Ravens were second. Well, Washington's first, averaging 31 points per game. They're fourth in yards, averaging 392.5. But here's where you start to talk about their quarterback. They're first in third down conversion rate. 51.6% of times they convert on third down. They're first in fourth down. Now, 100%. Now, they probably haven't had a ton of opportunities, but they've converted every single one of them. They're middle of the pack when it comes to red zone scoring, 15th, scoring 56.5% of the time. Rushing yards. Now, a lot of this is their quarterback, but also they got some pretty decent running backs. However, their first one might not be playing in this game, probably isn't playing in this game, and Brian Robinson Jr. But they're fourth in yards per rush, 5.3 yards per carry. Per game, they are second, 178.5 yards per game. Jimbo, it's kind of crazy to think that they're second, and they are a clean 36 yards behind the first place Ravens as an average. Like, it's absolutely insane. Yards per game through the air, however, they are 14th for 214 yards per game through the air. So typically like to move the ball, I would assume, more through the ground and use that to set up their passing game. Now, they will get chunk plays, Jimbo. They will absolutely get chunk plays. But I think some of the stats that really impressed me the most, because if you just pull up Washington's stats, you wouldn't look at Jayden Daniels and go, oh, my God, he's unbelievable.
Right.
He's got 1,100 yards passing, 4 touchdowns, and 2 picks. But he's got a 77% completion percentage, which is just unheard of for a rookie. 106 quarterback rating overall. But here's the part that really surprised you, because typically against a rookie, you can get after his ass. You can confuse him with exotic blitzes, stuff he's never even thought he would see back from the college ranks. This rookie, though, he's fourth against the blitz overall. He's got a 122 quarterback rating. He's got a 79% completion percentage against the blitz, Jim. I mean,
that's a stat I'm a little envious of.
you might not want to blitz this rookie. Like if you're
Right.
going to blitz any rookie, he might not be the one to blitz. But yeah, I mean, they got some good players, and this is not your average rookie. I'll certainly say that.
Yeah, no, I'm with you there, and I think it's going to be interesting to see how this game turns out because of the infusion of Dean Pease, along with the peaks and valleys of this defense. What are we going to see, man? You know, what's your take on him overall as a player?
Yeah, well, he's a good player. He's I mean, look, you hate to say it, but he's got shades of Lamar Jackson. There's just no doubt about it. You can see how they run their offense, a lot of RPOs, a lot of the zone read options where he's going to be. Man, it just puts a lot of pressure on your defensive ends, your outside linebackers, and it slows down your pass rush. So when you look at like their offensive line, you go, they're not great, but they're helped a lot by the scheme and by the player that's lined up behind them. So it causes pause from the outside linebackers and pass rushers where they can't just tear ass up the field. They have to stay level with the line of scrimmage and make sure they can, play both the running back or the quarterback, depending on who gets the ball. They run a lot of up-tempo, Jimbo. It's crazy. Like, their no huddle is like one of the top in the league. Again, this is a rookie, and he runs over 30 plays a game of no huddle. Like, what the hell? And so that's going to put a lot of stress on your defense. It's going to not allow guys to substitute in and out, won't stay as fresh. However, if they do sub, make sure you take advantage of the rule and get your subs in as well. But you got to absolutely be ready for that. I will say, Jimbo, that, and I've heard this point out by a lot of different people, so it's pretty clear that this is a trend. When he scrambles to the right. He scrambles to his throwing arm. He doesn't scramble to the left where he'd be forced to throw across his body. He scrambles to the right, and that's how they create a lot of big plays. So, Jimbo, is there any team that should be more prepared for Jayden Daniels than the damn Ravens? What are we talking about?
I was literally about to say that. I think we talked about this. Didn't we talk about this Tuesday?
I think
touch
so.
on this. I think
barely.
Yeah, but to your point, yeah, who should be more prepared for him than the Ravens? No one, right? We have the golden standard of this type of quarterback as far as style of play, right? No one has been better than Lamar Jackson. I still think, even with Jayden Daniels, it's too early to say he's in the same camp. Lamar is still one of one, in my unintelligent opinion, based on a lot of people, but my opinion nonetheless. Yeah, so to your point, though, Glenn, I wanted to talk about that. The defense's challenge is going to be third down. I actually wrote that down in as a note as well.
Yeah. Could be won and lost there.
Yeah, and so exactly. My defensive matchup is going to be Rowe and Trent Simpson versus Daniels, specifically on third downs, because if you remember early on in Lamar's career, you used to mention all the time, Lamar Jackson's a cheat code on third down, right? Because he's just going to break out and get you the yards you need if it's within reasonable range. And if it's not within reasonable range, he's probably still going to get you close. So Jayden Daniels seems to be doing a bit of that as well. And so being able to contain him is going to be really, really important. I know the kid has shown some wiggle. I'll be interested to see how the speed is when it's live against like a Trent Simpson. Or even, I know you mentioned Rose kind of lost step. Trent Simpson is so fast. But it's just the discipline, I think, is important to stay in the right position when you know that there's a potential of him leaving, right? Like not losing your feet, not floating around on the field, not ending up in a wrong spot and not being able to, keep your eye on him and get a hold of him. So that's my defensive key to the game, my defensive matchup that I'm going to be focusing on all the linebackers against the quarterback, especially in the run, especially on third down, because I think that's their key to a lot of to that statistic that you mentioned.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. I do believe this might be the most we see of Trenton Simpson because of his ability to tackle in the open field against athletic people. I mean, I don't know if it's crazy to say that him and Kyle Hamilton are probably our two best open field tacklers, like even above Rowe for a guy like this athletic, because again, I just don't know if Rowe has the wheels to handle a guy like Daniels with a ton of space around him. But I think Simpson and I think that Kyle Hamilton certainly could. So yeah, look out for Simpson and Kyle Hamilton to occasionally maybe spy on him.
Wow.
And what's up?
He just said that he's a better open field tackler than Roquan Smith.
For this particular guy.
Okay.
Because he's so fast. Like, I just worry. Dude,
that Rowe's not going to be able to get to the spot.
Trenton Simpson just immediately eliminates people in the open field. Like, I don't know if I've ever seen him miss. And Kyle Hamilton, I mean, I'm not even scared to admit that I think he's our best. But yeah, as far as my matchup, look, the guy on the outside that scares you is Terry McLaurin. He's the guy. Zach Ertz is a good player. He's old though. He's old. So he'll catch the ball in traffic and he'll find the soft spot in the zone, but he's old. So he's not going to make a ton of yak. He's not going to get you, he's not going to beat you in that regard, but Terry McLaurin, he'll beat you any way you need to get beat. And you know what? I got a soft spot for him. I've always been a fan of his. He's the only player who signed this ball that's not a Baltimore Raven because I think that much of Terry McLaurin. Here's what scares me. They are going to he typically always lines up on the right side, which would be against Brandon Stephens. Brandon Stephens had a tough game last week. And look, they were facing probably the top duo of receivers in the entire league. McLaurin doesn't have that guy next to him like Jamar has and T. Higgins. So how much are we going to see Stephens alone with Terry McLaurin? I hope not ever. I hope at the very least we have a safety over the top every time with Terry McLaurin and allow Stephens to get in his grill, disrupt him at the line of scrimmage, throw off the timing, but not be scared that he's just going to get torched and run by him because he has safety help over the top. That's what I want to do. I want to see Brandon Stephens punching him in his mouth as soon as he gets to the line of scrimmage. He has to fight his ass. McLaurin's going to fight his ass through Brandon Stephens only to have a waiting safety over the top. That's my matchup because it scares the hell out of me after last week seeing what Chase and Higgins were able to do to our outside corners. I don't want to see Stephens getting beat like a drum again. So please just play aggressive, knowing you got somebody over the top, but don't let Terry McLaurin beat you through the air. Make someone else do it. Don't let that guy beat you. Take him away and make anyone else beat you in the air.
Yeah, no, I'm with you there, Glenn, but I'll tell you this. I've been, obviously I was early on Brandon Stephens. I think he has a bounce back game. I think he has, not saying that he's going to delete Terry, right? But I think we see a relative bounce back game. And that has me encouraged, even if he's overall, overlined up on the right side. I feel like I always have confidence in Brandon Stephens, but you're right.
Dude, the whole defense has got to have
a bounce back game. They have to. Like, we can't continue to do this.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, for sure. The other note DK brings up is that Cliff Kingsbury's offense has historically fizzled out after teams have enough film. That's a really good point. I mean, wasn't there one year they started 7-0 and then they went 7 and 1,000? Like they didn't win a game for forever.
And it's week 6. It's about that time where we start to see slips in performance. Yep.
Yeah, and DK's other point is that he thinks that Jayden Daniels' comp should be Kyler Murray, not necessarily Lamar Jackson. Interesting.
Well, I think it's his. I think they're giving him more credit than comparing him to Kyler would be. I think they're saying he's just that good. He's like Lamar.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, hey, we'll have to wait and see. I still think that. Let's just wait and see once the book is out on Kingsbury and Jayden Daniels. It hasn't come out yet, but I think it's about to come out.
Yeah, that's a good point. He might be making another one-way trip to, where'd he go, Thailand again at the end of the season?
He did, to go relax and spend all his money.
Just a one-way. He literally bought a one-way ticket. Now,
I will say that there's a huge – yeah, exactly. He did say that, too. There's a huge Commanders fan in the chat right now. So I'm going to give him and his name is Cook, and I'm going to give him – he gave me a score prediction. I want to give it to you because he told me 35-28 is his score prediction. He says, watch out for De'Ami Brown. Remember, we liked De'Ami Brown out of North Carolina as a deep ball threat. He caught a 41-yard touchdown just last week, which was by far his biggest catch. He hasn't even come close to that other than that. But watch out for that guy as a deep threat. He wanted me to point him out, so I got to give this guy some credit here.
There you go. Shout out, dude.
Last year's winner of our fantasy league, by the way.
Oh, shoot.
And
right. Not in it this year, right?
Not in it. He was too scared to come back and take on the people's
join the club, dude. That's okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. All right. Let's get into the next part, Jimbo, which is
Yeah. So is our defense?
Oh, we didn't give our X factor. Sorry.
That's right. Yeah. So mine to my point. about the linebacker group against Daniels.
That's your key defensive matchup and your X factor?
Well, Trenton Simpson specifically is my X factor, the one guy. But like the linebacker core is the matchup versus Daniels. And then Trenton, because just like you said, I think he's going to be the guy. I got to stop doing this. He's going to be the guy that will ultimately, be a difference maker and be a play disruptor in this game based on, Jayden Daniels getting out there and taking off.
Yeah, I think that's a great pick. And I love that your X factor isn't one of the highest paid guys. And that's inspired me because look, I've had Kyle Hamilton on here this year. I've had Rowe on here this year. They're expected. Like those guys are already, that's not really an X factor, but to me, Unique Ngakoue would be just that. And look, somebody asked me in the chat, have I bought my shoes yet? Yeah. You know what? There's a brand new pair of running shoes in my closet right now.
Are there?
Okay. There's a brand new pair.
Let's go.
All right. But that doesn't mean that I'm ready to just lace them up. Okay. I still have hope.
Glenn will not do this willingly.
No, I still have hope that my guy, but I don't think it's going to start this week, Jimbo. I hate to say it. Here's what we need. Two big Cleveland Browns performances because we know Deshaun Watson will hold on to that ball and get his ass. I think he got sacked like 7 times last week or 8 times. That's my chance, Jimbo, but it won't be this game. It'll be Unique Ngakoue this time, who will absolutely run him down from behind. I mean, he's going to – here's the thing. Jayden's going to think he can get away from him. He's going to see – he's like, isn't that guy – didn't he just get off the couch? Isn't he an old man? I don't need to run from this guy. And then Unique's going to just shoot out of there like he was shot out of a cannon, and he's going to get his ass, okay?
I like it. Well, there's one thing certainly Unique can do, and that's run fast.
Yes, he can. And he showed that spin move last week.
Yeah?
He's got it. Jimbo, Cole is once again in the chat. We're going to race, Cole, because I didn't like your confidence last time we talked about this. Jimmy versus the former interior. Jimmy versus you?
Wait, what?
I think he's saying, is Jimmy going to beat Cole? Come on, Cole. You got a shot against me. You got a shot against Jimbo. No chance.
In a sprint.
In a sprint? Jimmy's fast as shit. I'm telling you, in a sprint, in a crawl, in a backwards run, Jimmy's beating you. In a sprint, he's confident. Stop it, Cole.
I just want to say that distance is not my thing by nature. Like, look, Glenn knows how I'm built. Glenn knows what it's about.
He said he wants the. Oh man,
yeah.
You know what? It's gonna be one of those things where as soon as it happens, he goes, "Hey, I shouldn't have done this," because Jimmy's just gonna. It's like he's insanely fast. Like.
Thank you, Glenn. I appreciate you gassing me up.
I mean, come on. I mean, literally, you feel confident that no Raven would beat you in a 5K. So like,
yeah. Now sprint, I would lose to all of them except maybe the offensive lineman.
I was gonna say,
I just want to say this: I did hit 19 miles an hour, and Glenn was there to witness it. I videotaped it with my phone in hand, and still got the 19 miles an hour on the speedometer. Just saying.
Yeah.
Anyway.
We've done some collabs with Bobby.
Oh, yeah.
Done some collabs with him. Trust me, he definitely don't want the smoke. My man Jimmy found him walking. And let me tell you, Cole, 19, I don't think is the fastest Jimmy can run. He was holding the phone.
Right.
The whole thing.
It was early in the morning. Like, I was...
By the way, what inspired you to do that?
Camden, dude.
My son, because my son was within a couple miles per hour of him, and he went, nope.
Yeah, I was like, something's wrong with this thing. I need to get serious about it.
Yeah, so
I feel pretty confident
really
I get 20
fast.
Plus.
Yeah, I drove 19 miles an hour. Yeah, he's a quick one. He's a quick one.
Yeah, I try my best.
Cole, if I do have to run this marathon,
5K.
Holy shit.
Hey,
5K.
dude, let's do it.
I am going to dust your ass, Cole.
I like how we're telling Cole right now.
I mean, I'm 6'3", I'm long, I can run like a gazelle. It's just been a while, okay?
Oh, I'm excited for it. I know that.
I want him here. You got to make
Baltimore?
a trip to
Baltimore. This is what we'll do. The race will be around multiple loops around both stadiums.
I love it.
How cool would that be? We'll film it.
I love it, dude. And look, we'll do the sprint. We'll get that over with real quick, and then we'll get on to the real business.
Dude, I'm getting the competition sweats right now, dude.
Dude,
I'm gonna get a shiny forehead in a second. Bro.
I'm telling you, Jimbo, I've not let myself have any skips. I haven't skipped anything. Okay. Any opportunity I have to do something, I'm taking it.
Let's go, dude.
All right. I gotta be better.
Dude, I love it. Look at this. Turning over a new leaf. Look, DK's clapping for you. Chat, can we clap it up, dude?
I got it. Yeah. Oh, now hold on now. Now you're talking, Cole. Your boy can put down a couple brewski. Now, you might be able to beat me in a drinking contest, but I'll fight your ass for that too. You know? I put down a couple beers. Jimmy will tell you I can put down a few. I might end up fighting someone, you know? Might get beat up, you know?
Oh, it's funny when Glenn drinks, he becomes really nice. And then, like, Glenn's not a jerk, but, like, when he gets to, like, jabbing with someone back and forth, the line, like, Glenn's line is already very extreme. And then it just disappears when he's a little inebriated. And he'll just go right for whatever you consider to be inappropriate.
That's
right for it. Just right there.
I ain't scared.
That's awesome. Yeah, no, it's a good time.
But yeah, we got to get Cole back on here. It's been too long. It's been too long.
Yes.
But yeah, I think that is. Oh no, competition time.
Let's do it.
Let's get into it, man. As you guys know, and by the way, Jimbo did say that we had some issues with the shipping of some of the, but they're on their way. If you haven't gotten it, they are on their way.
Yeah, and in full transparency,
Jimmy lost his wallet. Jimmy lost his wallet in a place you don't want to lose your wallet.
Trying to teach my son how to jump off of a swing.
Look, you know, things happen, but you don't want to lose your wallet in Patterson Park. I mean, if you're going to lose your wallet, you don't want to do it in Baltimore.
No, you lose it in Utah, dude.
Good to go.
Good to go. That's
Baltimore,
right.
You better get them cards canceled quickly.
Yeah.
Or things are going to happen bad. But all right, as you guys know, we have a competition every week, series of over-unders and closest to the pin tiebreakers that we compete against each other internally and open up to the fans to compete as well. If you want to participate, make sure you put your answers to the over-under and close to the pin questions to a direct message or wait for this live to be over and simply comment those answers below. And then we will pick a winner and announce that winner next week on our Tuesday show. And then you will then send us your shirt size and address in a private message, certainly not in the open comments for everyone to see, unless you want some stranger showing up to your house. And then we will send you some swag, no doubt about it. Not Patterson Park, bruh. Not
it.
These guys just trying to show them how to jump off of a daggone swing, you know? Doing dad stuff.
Right. That's it.
But it happens. All right, let's move into our first question of the over-under competition.
That's awesome.
I forgot about it, dude. I was jamming, bro.
All right, let's get to the first one. Over under number one, Derrick Henry receiving yards 7.5. I smashed the over on this one. Glenn, what about yourself?
Yeah, I'm going to say over because it's only going to take one catch for him to get this. I mean, I guess in theory he could get tackled for a 2-yard gain, but what's he? I guarantee, DK's sneaky, so I bet that's like his season average per catch or something. But yeah, I'm going to say over as well. Oh, he averages 8.2 per reception. So because of that, definitely hitting the over.
Let's go. All right, number two, Ravens rushing yards. Over under, this is an absurd number, but certainly reasonable. 225.5. That's just wild to read out loud. But I'm taking the under on this one because I think it's just a lot.
It is a lot. Like, that's insane that's where the over-unders are for this team to make it like I might go under. No, I'm going to go under because it's such an insane number.
Yeah.
And then we're probably both going to be wrong, and DK's going to be right because I noticed he
swoop
disagrees.
right in there. Yep.
This guy is going to obliterate us in this conversation this year. I mean, holy smokes. He's getting better as he goes, too. Like, creating the questions. And
we've created a monster, Glenn.
Because he trips us up. He plays on how, he's like, Glenn's not that bright. I'm going to put this number here. I know what he's doing, dude. I know what he's up to.
He's laying traps.
Exactly. He's sneaky, dude.
All right, number 3. What do we got, DK? Over under Jayden Daniels passing yards, 225.5. Is this the same exact number as our rushing yards? Did I see that right? Yes, it is.
Yes.
I'm going, I think, okay, so because of Dean Pease, I'm going over. I think that Dean Pease will help in the red zone. Dean doesn't care what happens between the 20s. He never has. But the red zone will be highly impacted. But Jayden will get his yards. No, what I'm saying is that Dean will have a positive impact.
He did have a bend but don't break type of defense.
That's what I'm saying. That's been Dean Pease for how long, right? That's Dean.
He did. But I'm going to say under, okay? I'm going to say under. He averages 227 a game. And look, I gotta think that this defense has something to prove. I think they have a chip on their shoulder heading into this one.
I hope you're right.
For that reason, I'm gonna say under.
I like it. All right, let's get to the last one before the tiebreakers. Trenton Simpson over under total tackles, 9.5 tackles. I'm going under because I just feel like that's a lot. There's a lot of good tacklers on this defense. Kyle Hamilton, Rowe, that are generally in his vicinity, and so I'm going under.
Yeah, I mean, that's so many. That would be by far a high. So I'm going to say under. Even if you put it at 4.5, I would have thought about it. But 9.5, that's an easy under in my opinion.
All right, let's go to the next one, DK. First tiebreaker, total score over under 51.5 points. Glenn, I'm going to let you go. I'm going to tell you now, let you know that I'm going over with this one. I think the Ravens win 38-28.
Damn.
Yep.
That's a high scorer one. Okay. Well, I'm going to say over as well. Not quite as many points. I think I'll do 31-21, which gets us barely over that over under.
I like it.
But still a 10-point victory, just like you're predicting.
Yep. I think it's going to be a decisive victory for the Baltimore Ravens this week. I think there's a little fire on the whole Commanders camp and team down there.
All right. Well, I appreciate that prediction. But no, DK says over as well. So we're all saying high score. I think we all learned our lesson last week.
Yeah.
Look, they're going to win some shootouts in this year. Okay.
Yep, we're going to have to.
That's just how it is. All right, second tiebreaker, total yards. Closest to the pin is the challenge. I'm going to say 413 because, look, I'm just tired of picking these round numbers. I'm going to pick some goofy number. But I learned my lesson last week. I put us at like 340. And then they went for like 600. So I'm going to say 413, Jimbo. What do you say?
I like it. I'm saying 455. I'm going to continue the trend of being right at this one and picking the highest number.
Yeah, just hopefully this time it'll actually matter.
Yeah.
Because last
time. Right, because we got to get, exactly.
We got to get DK off this throne of his.
I know. DK says 435, so he's right between us. I like that because then he has the smallest margin of victory, I believe. And that's exactly what we want. We do not want DK to prosper. But I think that's it for us tonight, folks. Make sure if you want to submit your competition, a chance to win one of our shirts and some 410 Sports Talk swag, go ahead and use any of the social media handles that we have in the description of this video or add it to a comment once the video is no longer live. DK will tally them up and let us know who the winner is. But that's it for us tonight, folks. We will talk to you soon.
See you.
Forget now.